Welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I'm Dustin.
I am Bo.
And I am Zach.
Indeed.
Hey, fellas.
Oh, we're wearing glasses
How's it
today?
going?
Is the day?
Oh, well, I just got my glasses and I forgot to put them on, and I actually really need them. Oh, new glasses. I got my my Dr. Forrester's from
Good
Mystery Science Theater.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look
I
at you,
like
bro.
'em.
Look at you.
Yeah, now I don't have to. You won't see me in the videos doing this, like going, even though I'm right there.
Now we can see the. Now we can see the tabs.
Yeah.
Nasty nurses.
Oh, you don't need that clothes. So we wanted to do a big 4th of July, even though it's on a Tuesday. So
yeah,
we know everybody's celebrating this weekend.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be doing the heavy stuff. The fireworks are probably going to be going crazy this weekend, and I'm going to be real mad because I'm going to have a fresh baby and trying to figure that out.
Wanted to bring it up. Congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you. I appreciate it. She's home, and so now I got 2 kids. I can't believe it. I can't believe I have to say that now. It's like it hit me when we were driving home, and I was just like, oh my god, I have to say kids.
You got some kids. You got to get the kids in the vehicle.
Kids, it's like taking up my entire back seat. It's like,
That's how it is for me.
Yeah, car seats everywhere.
Yeah,
but she's adorable. The picture you sent, she's this tiny little thing.
They're so tiny, so tiny. But yeah, she's sleeping now, so we're good. We're good. Nice. I won't get too rowdy. But yeah, so hopefully the 4th will be good for everybody. Everybody can have a good time and watch this on Tuesday, the actual 4th, because if you're like us, you'll probably be at work or something like that or something boring, and you can come watch us.
Celebrate your freedom with us.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we thought to actually theme the show by promising one topic that we've been promising to do for like a month. It just worked out. But also, Zach, you wanted to cover Valaverse and Joefest.
Yeah, so Joefest and
which one you want first?
I guess we'll go Joe. There isn't that much to cover. Yeah, so there was some since it's Yojo June, they revealed these 3 pre-orders went up. That's Lowlight Grunt, which can also he comes with an alternate head, so you can make him a builder,
an army builder.
Yeah, army builder. Thank you. Jeez, man, my brain. And then the same thing goes for the snow serpent with the wolf cape and everything, which I think is. I want that so bad. Look at that thing. And then, and then these 3, we got a tunnel rat. And then we had the eel, which I'm sorry if you want one, they're currently sold out. They were an Amazon exclusive. I think I saw people were buying 30 and 40 at a time.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Because as soon as I got to the listing, I couldn't even get. I wanted one, just to have an analog to torpedo. And then I can't remember who said it. I think it might be the YouTuber Artist Shark who coined the phrase butter pecan snake eyes. And, yeah. It's a
it does
desert.
Look delicious.
Yeah, desert. Yeah, we got Desert Commando snake eyes coming, and if I remember correctly, desert snake eyes and tunnel rat are pretty much available everywhere except for eel. He's an exclusive, and like I said, he's Amazon. So if you're watching this, he's already unfortunately gone. I didn't get one either, so I'm right there with you. Hopefully Amazon will put some more up. There's another photo.
Yeah, that's the picture.
That's the snow serpent. I'm very excited about those. I think they're currently up everywhere. I think.
Yeah, I think I still saw these up on Big Bad.
Yeah. So they're up on Big Bad. You can wherever you get your toys. Yeah. Good luck on Amazon. I'm kind of I'm trying to steer away from Amazon personally. But yeah, look, I mean, it's a deluxe figure, by the way. So it's going to be that it won't be the $20. It'll be more of a $35. I think MSRP is $35. And here's Grunt that I was talking about. So he comes with the alternate head so that you can army build if you want. I believe it's the Steel Corpse. I believe is what they call them. Not to
Got a
be
bit of
confused
a
with.
Michael Shannon look on his face.
Dude, that's a great figure, man. Like
It's a
I kept coming back to this one because this is the first one that Classified is doing with an actual plate carrier, and he has these little flip, and that's an actual flip down like GPS thing on his chest. So it's like a lot of people do that in the military where they have their little GPSs and stuff. They'll flip them down and.
Okay.
And here's low light if you like yourself some sniper action. And
I think it's a good season for snipers. I know we haven't got the Valaverse, but between Joefest and Valaverse, you're going to have your pick of snipers.
Oh yeah,
you're covered.
my favorite part about this figure is if you look at his eyes. I don't know how good the image is, what you're seeing, but I couldn't get a really good close up without making it all digital. But he's actually got like bags under his eyes, like sleepy. Like he's been staying up and sniping for a long time.
You got to do that waiting.
Yeah. But yeah, that rifle breaks down and goes into the case, is what they say.
Nice.
So we'll see.
That's a neat feature. You see that shit in movies. That never gets old. The old putting together the rifle and everything. It's always fun.
Yeah. So, and then once again, this guy, the deluxe, man. Look at all that stuff. I kind of want this guy just for the wolf cape and cowl, just to see what you can put that.
I think Hasbro can make like some extra money just selling accessories. I know a lot of people don't do accessory packs.
I
don't know why they're
rare.
Yeah, I don't, and I know. Going to Valaverse, that we'll get into accessory packs.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and remove from studio. Okay, I'm going to be switching to my theme because Valaverse, they went all out.
Yeah, so they had their panel at Joefest, and you can go watch the full presentation on YouTube if you want. It's like 30-something minutes, and but I just went in and caught screenshots of everything. So if you don't want to sit through it, I recommend it because there's a lot of good info in there. But yeah.
Okay. So we introduced these are coming this year, which is crazy. They got all this going on.
Yeah, and here's a new look at the blister card. If you're a current Action Force collector, they come on like these boxy designs. I don't have one handy right now, and you can still see that the file you'll get your file card on the back, and you'll get your action points and all that good stuff. So you're still getting all the stuff that you usually get, but now it's going to be coming on a blister card. So now if you're one of those guys that likes to hang figures on the wall like I do, I kind of like if I have extras, because I don't want to confuse anybody and let you think that I'm an inbox collector, which I am not. I chuck that stuff in the garbage, but I do make the mistake of ordering doubles sometimes, and the doubles comes, and I'll keep that mint on card or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And then this was probably one of the biggest things that they announced: the price adjustment.
First off, that.
Yeah, so pretty much everything across the board is getting lowered. They came out and just said, during a time period where every other company is raising their prices, Valaverse is lowering their prices across the board.
I mean, just a $20 figure, those were the days.
And this is a look at the new Arctic, or it might be the Desert Trooper, but now they're coming with 2 alternate heads, so you can choose and then you get all your hands, you get a weapon, and you get a stand for your basic trooper. That's just your basic.
Nice.
And I like this because this gives you options basically.
Yeah, and then
you can buy as many of these as you want, and then trick them out with your accessories.
Yeah, and these are all separate. So like what you're talking, you can buy all these gear packs. So if you want to mix and match, like, you don't have to put a desert gear pack on a desert trooper. I think it's great to put, mix and match like that. And then, so going into Series 4, Colonel Siege.
I need this guy. It's so cool.
they added the goatee to him, but he comes with alternate hands that holds the cigar. And and then the belt.
Right there.
Yeah. And then the belt is a complete. It's like adjustable, so if you want to just have it a single holster, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep it. I don't know why you want a double thigh rig. It's ridiculous. And they're bringing back the fan favorite Riot Trooper. It's going to be because that thing sold out like within, I don't even know, but they're reissuing it. And with the gear pack, it used to be separate, but
Right.
now
Smart
you
move.
can get, you're going to get the entire Riot gear pack figure, and they're introducing the new gas mask helmet. And the helmet, which is so awesome, the lens, that's just a render of the helmet himself, but the lens is clear so you can see the eyes behind it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yep. And this right here is going to be because they're starting to roll out these new deluxe figures to where they come out in a big box and they give you a bunch of stuff. So this one this is a full blown like sniper kit. Like he's got entire sniper loadout. He's got the spotting scope. He's got the bipod. He's got the big bore.
The one eye closed head.
Yes, I know. And then not to mention the fan favorite ghillie suit is coming with him. So, and if you've seen any of the photos of this thing, it is just, oh man, it's so cool. I'm super excited. And here is a Steel Brigade Trooper. They're coming out with a desert themed Steel Brigade. So if you're like me and you collect every Steel Brigade that there is, sometimes and you have multiples, I'm in trouble. Yeah. And here is the man. I probably should have taken it. So this is the new Swarm Trooper coming out, and obviously, if you can't tell, it's glow in the dark. So
yeah,
if you're into glow in the dark stuff, well, God,
Firefly.
yeah. And then now this one is really, I want this one, but this is going to be a PowerCon. PowerCon Swarm. It's the Swarm Horde. They said that after PowerCon, they've ordered a shit ton, is what they said.
yeah.
And they're going to put them up on the site after PowerCon. So if you can't make it, they've already kind of reassured everybody. It's like, look, there's going to be plenty. So just buy one when they come on the website.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess the PowerCon people to get to take it home early.
Yeah. And this one,
I need this one too.
I'm probably they're gonna hurt me. The Crimson Shadow Technology is the Praetorian, so he's like because there's all these different factions in Valaverse, and you got your Steel Brigades are kind of the good guys, and your Action Force are your good guys and stuff like that. Well, then there's a Crimson Shadow. They're like a super high tech technology. We haven't even really seen any of their faction yet. And this is the first we're getting of them, and they have mechanized robot warriors.
Jeez.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like they're bats, but like modernized.
Yeah, and look at that submachine gun there on the bottom. It's like a Vector 45 with a stub 203 grenade launcher. That is complete madness, but I love it. And then it comes with blast effects. He has a blade on one arm, and then those discs are actually going to be clear shields that you can peg in.
Yeah.
At different.
I think there's like video of this guy, right? If you wanted to look it up.
Yeah, there's a trailer. It's like a 2 or 3 minute trailer. That if you want to see the renders and stuff broken down further, I definitely recommend you go check it out. But man, just look at that thing. And then here we go. If you want a tactical samurai coming soon, look at this guy.
Group's gotta have a ninja.
Yeah. So even though Bobby Vala was like, he said no to ninjas, but he never said no to samurai.
There you go.
So there you go. And that armor set looks insane.
That is neat. That's a very cool idea.
Yeah, I love the Oni mask, and this is also going to be. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first figure to come out with the quad nods, the night vision goggles. So he's going to have the quad set.
Oh yeah, the ones that they can swap over. Okay.
Yeah, because my time in the military, we only had the modern lens, which completely remove your depth perception. But these pop down and they're four tubes, and you have complete panoramic. It's
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Whoa.
Like I never got to get those.
This thing's got a very Nolan. It's very Nolan-esque, like the Nolan-verse. Like these would have been the dudes that Batman would have been doing, just elbowing and shit.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait to get this guy.
Yeah.
I
think I accidentally put this in. This is Joefest, right?
Oh, this is Joefest, but also this is there's a little bit of to break away from.
This is my bad. I put this line together wrong.
It's okay. When I submitted all the photos, they were kind of crazy. This is a weird one because if you're paying attention to the HasLab right now, the HasLab, the Dragonfly, for G.I. Joe Classified HasLab, it funded with like in the first day, and then they hit their first stretch goal, which was Ripcord. Because so now you got Wild Bill, you got Ripcord, and then this is the next tier. I don't know. I can check really fast while we're talking. But man, I know this is going to sound really stupid, but to be honest with you, this is kind of like, because I was on the fence about the Dragonfly. Like, dude, do I really want to go in on another HasLab? Yeah. Like she hasn't hit yet. They haven't hit her tier yet. But she is. So that's Jane Glenda Mulligan, and she's a real deep cut if you're a G.I. Joe fan. Like, she's not very prominent in the IDW, if I remember correctly. She was a figure that was released into the O-ring only in Puerto Rico. Like, America never even got her. And and she, I think she was, I got that wrong. She was prominent a little bit in the comics, but never in like Real American Hero, the cartoon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they showed this, they were like, "Who is this?" So to me, if you're gonna do a HasLab, every character kind of needs to be a banger. For that price
at
tag.
least, like, because this isn't even like the final tier.
No, this is the second or third.
Yeah, I would just put this at the back.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But then again, I don't know who the next tier is. So.
Yeah, because you're getting Wild Bill, with the Dragonfly, which it's already at a decent price, and then you're getting Ripcord. Ripcord got unlocked, and a lot of people. If I remember correctly, the backers kind of went down a little bit after she was revealed, because then they were like, I don't want this one, because a lot of people wanted more Night Force people, and or Airborne or anybody, that would kind of fit the aesthetic. And she fits the aesthetic, but this is me and my cynical ass. If you look at her suit, this is just classic Scarlet.
I was fixing to ask.
They're gonna redo this to be classic retro Scarlet, and they were like, "Well, hell, we can just use HasLab money to build the mold, and then we can reuse it later for Scarlet." You know what I mean? So it's to me, that's like, oh, that's just greasy Hasbro trying to get us to pay for things. And
they were doing so well because actually recently repriced that the helicopter and everything.
Yeah, it's a good, but for me, like, I wanted to see what I'm the kind of guy. The last HasLab I did, I kind of jumped on a little late, and then because I was really excited for the tiers. But every tier has to be a banger for me to jump in on. To be honest, dude, it's a lot of money,
Man. All right,
but
back to Valaverse.
Valaverse, yes. So yeah, this is going to be a head pack that you can buy, so you can get all the different color head troopers.
Like, your options are.
Or no, excuse me. This is items include 10 heads based on the colors of the item previously released. So you can buy this head pack to go with your previous troopers, because all the troopers going forward will have these heads in there, like the balaclava with the goggles, not the gas mask. But no.
Okay. There was even a price drop on the deluxe stuff.
Yeah, so even their mainline figures, because their mainline, come out to be like $32 and some change, and now they're going down to just $30. Yeah.
Nice.
And here we go, Arctic Troopers.
Now, you said he was like hesitant on doing.
So he constantly was like, I don't like Arctic stuff. I don't want to touch Arctic stuff. But then everybody keeps, I'm one of those people that like, dude, we would really love some Arctic. Because, man, who doesn't like snow?
Yeah.
There's
so always the cool sequences.
People in Ohio don't like snow.
Well, yeah. But what if I gave you a gun?
I'd be all for it.
Well, now I love snow.
I love snow. See? There you go. Fuck you, snow. So yeah, we're getting Arctic Troopers, Arctic ghillie suit, which
Oh,
so this is going to be a kit from what I understand. This is going to be the ghillie suit, the rifle, bipod, spotting scope, just in one kit. So there, man, I'm, I'm in trouble. It's like I'm in
And then
trouble.
if you want some bonus accessories,
If you want Arctic weapons, which if you have like, and what's cool is a lot of these are guns that we already previously have.
uh,
And if you have any Valaverse guns, then you know that they're awesome. They're so good,
yeah.
and they're not only the best. Like I think they're the best 112 weapons we have on the market. I know a lot of people like because GI Joe, God dang it, GI Joe. Like I actually have one on my desk here that I've been meaning to throw away. It's like a oh man, this is a terrible weapon.
The Nerf gun.
They got away from the Nerf guns, and then they just went to
Yeah.
they just started making up guns. Like
Uh,
God bless his soul, Lenny on the HasLab team, or not HasLab team, but on the classified team, they announced one of the figures, and he's got a semi carbine sniper rifle, and I just wanted to throw up because I'm like, I was like, carbine's not that's not a real thing, dude.
I remember
But
the breakdown pump action shotgun. It
yeah,
did
they had
bust.
the pump and it broke down. Yeah, oh God, don't whatever. Yeah, if we ever have Bobby Val on, yeah, bring that up.
But this is what everybody was waiting for, really. I mean, there was nice surprises, but
Yeah, so yeah, if you're really wanting a 112, because this is ultimately what kind of killed the ASLab for me. Because I was like, well, I know where my money's going now.
Yeah.
The Vanguard is coming out, and our price range is 175 to 190 because there's going to be the base model. You'll get the base, and it comes.
yeah, there's all the
Yeah,
stuff that comes with it. That's a lot.
yeah, yeah. That is just the base model right there. So you'll get your top turret, your gas cans. You're getting a driver with it, so a separate figure. And then later on, there's a kit here, and this is a good picture of an add-on kit where you can add Patriot like Stinger missiles to it.
Jeez.
A working
It
man.
has a working wrench. So if you, I don't know, want to wrench things, but yeah, it has like it seats. I forget how many people.
Right there, the 10 figures.
10 figures, which is nuts. Which I don't see how that's possible. Because I know you get what five in the main hub, and then you get one in the back glass firing, one in the turret, and I guess you could put people on the side steps holding on like you do rolling into combat or something. But good lord, I can't wait for that thing.
Oh goodness.
I'm probably hard up on that. So, oh yeah,
This was like the biggest surprise to me. I was not expecting this.
yeah.
At all.
He announced that he was getting an IP, and then the IP that he got, they actually backpedaled and didn't like screwed it up, and they were like, well, we don't want to do business. But Bobby was like, I don't want to do business. You guys are flaky. But then immediately after that, he got this. And so he's going to be doing RIP just David Frank, his last film, Legend of the Right. Yeah, so we're going to get, and they're all going to come in the articulation scheme of Action Force. So if you're a fan of those figures, which man, if you had one in your hand, you're probably a fan.
Yeah.
If you'd even told me last year that batting to some people were going to get an action figure set, like I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm gonna.
There he is.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, the actual main guy behind Action Force is actually the villain in the film. So yeah, isn't that crazy? Like they look good. I mean, I know these are digital renders, but yeah,
really good. And just you want to bring your kids in.
Yeah. So
or you just want a goofy desk buddy.
Yeah. So we're getting 10-inch desk buddies for our kids, which I'm already gonna get these for Sam.
Yeah, man. I know if I was a kid, man, I'd want this. Plus, they're like just I don't know, very toyetic. I mean, they look like something of the Small Soldiers or something.
Yeah. The Swarm Troopers are my favorite. I know they're the bad guys, but God, look how cool they look.
They do.
They look so good. Like
sucker for helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the first figure that I was like really hard up for. I was like, oh, I gotta get that.
Yeah, the scarab, I bought like way too many scarabs because they have the dome helmet. It's almost translucent.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. I'm probably gonna like have to get one and force it on Jamie or something. I'm just gonna send it to you, man, and
So
be
much
like,
stuff.
yeah. Be like,
You even got me the other night. You're like, yeah, there's Batman, the caveman. He's at Amazon. I'm like, oh man, I don't have any money. He's like, I'll start you a tab. I was like, you son of a bitch.
yeah, 'cause
Son of a bitch.
we've been waiting for that figure to hit. And
he brought it up. He's like, that looked good on that T-Rex, and I'm like, son. And then I looked
I
up
know.
a review, and he had it on there, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Doing the classic, like, Frazetta just. Rah!
Yeah. I was like,
Straight
it's
up.
caveman. It's a Batman caveman that you can put on your T-Rex. I'm like, you want this, right? You know?
Yeah. So it cost me some money.
Yeah. Hey, it's can't take it with
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Let's just blow it. Well,
but yeah, thanks for entertaining.
Finally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
no,
for.
dude, that was.
Yeah, I because I sat there and I felt like I was the only person at my house because my wife doesn't care. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm texting you guys and I'm like, you guys,
Renee humors me. I'll sit there and talk. She doesn't really know what's going. Although she is picking up lingo and stuff, and
yeah.
But I'll go off on the thing. Oh, look at this and all this.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, okay, so
it's gonna be real fun going into debt.
Conversation time. We've been promising this forever, so I hope you're as excited as you used to be when we first announced we were going to do this episode.
Yeah, so all those people, you can come and hit us up in the comments later, be like, you are the guys that are the biggest procrastinators. If you only knew me, bro, it's the 11th hour is where I get the most stuff done.
Yeah, that's true.
We're better under pressure. Yeah, but also, like, we just kept postponing it because we had, like, cool guests and stuff. I wouldn't trade it, like, for that D episode. I wouldn't trade it.
Oh, yeah. And then plus it's perfect because it's the 4th of July. And what's more American than Superman?
The embodiment of the American spirit.
Yeah.
Superman. So
we have a playlist up on YouTube.
Oh, so, yeah. You can check it because we're not going to be able to play anything.
Yeah, we can't. We get show all the favorite clips here,
but you're going to find like an awesome playlist that's got like all of our favorite like Superman moments, clips from movies, interviews, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
definitely check that out. But let's start with the idea of Superman because we know James Gunn. We're getting a fresh start again. And Superman seems to be, even though he has success in films, he's not like the Fantastic Four. Like his movies do well, but I think people still haven't hit the mark. We still haven't hit, where Superman just hit like a nice stride, and we've had him for a long time.
Yeah,
I honestly think they
all the very
Henry Cavill enough chance. So
yeah, Henry Cavill's a difficult one because he was, to me, he looked the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked the part perfectly, and oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, all the actors that have portrayed Superman.
Yeah, I mean, he had this great, like I said, a great look. He had, and he's a fan, so that helps. But the content that he was given was pretty rough. So, and that the same for me. The same goes for Brandon Routh. I'm a huge Brandon Routh fan.
Yeah, I really did enjoy his.
His take on Superman, even though people are like, well, he was just trying to copy Christopher Reeve, and I was like, I don't care. It was great.
That was the point. That was supposed to be like a sequel to the.
It was.
Yeah.
That universe. He was still supposed to be Superman.
And if you were able to get through, I know the CW Arrowverse is pretty rough, but if you were able to get through to the Crisis on Infinite Earths, like multi-part series they were doing, where they had Brandon Routh come back as like the Kingdom Come-esque Superman Returns amalgamation, which you got that photo there. Like, oh my god, dude, he was great, dude. And the lines that if you got time, go YouTube that. It's all over YouTube, and it's wonderful. Like,
excuse me. But yeah, I mean, like, we got all these actors, but the idea of Superman, it started off very funny because, it started off as this article or this short story that they wrote for a magazine, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, that presented the idea of a Superman, but he's evil. He's more of like Lex Luthor Superman, like this guy that has all these godlike abilities. And the story's popular, but they're like, what if this dude was like Moses? What if he just had somebody with superpowers and they were really nice and benevolent? Like, what would that be like? And God bless them for having that idea, because they basically created the superhero.
Yeah. And man, can you imagine having that comic?
Shout out to Cleveland, Ohio, where it started.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I think this comic, like, what was the last recent one I saw? I think it was like 9.8 grade. No, wait a minute, that can't be right. Anyway, I think it was like $2.5 million if you had an issue of Action Comics. Or in that range.
It hurts.
Yeah, but I'm eternally grateful to those two guys for creating this hero, because they kind of ushered in what the superhero genre is and what the superhero is. In fact, just like you said, and but I know the notes that we were going to talk about, going back to the whole James Gunn thing of what would be our ideal Superman.
I mean, we've had so many variations, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is this icon to us? So I think it would be fun just to go, like, what do you want to see out of the new Superman, and what don't you want to see? Like, what do we need to get rid of?
I know everybody wants to. The whole Snyderverse was very dark, grim, and we had the sad Superman, and then you get the other crowd that's like, oh, I want a happy-go-lucky Superman. But I think where the middle ground, where you get both and you get the best of both worlds, is you go with a stoic Superman. And I think we've forgotten kind of what a stoic hero is, because we don't really get it anymore, in modern entertainment. Especially Marvel has pretty much killed the stoic hero. He has to come in, he has to be funny, he has to have a quip of, about everything, and I almost I just want Superman to be almost like your ideal dad.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the way I feel like Alex Ross paints him. He's this, he's approachable. James Gunn said something. Somebody asked him about, like, what do you want in a Superman? Like, how would you describe him? And he's kind of like with you. He's like, he's just this big, powerful, like, dude who you actually you had the urge to give him a hug.
Yeah.
He's got that, so yeah, strong dad qualities. I mean, because I don't know. Superman is, as ever, like, even Reeves shortened it down. He's like, Superman's a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's your best bud. He's your dad.
I think the what would be cool to have him as is, like, you would have Superman in your house making pancakes and you forget that he's Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh man, you're just a really cool guy.
Yeah.
I know you were pretty big on this storyline.
This was a really good comic series that came out, and also they released this animated film. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a very good representation of what my ideal Superman is, because he's constantly, he's going up against this new group of heroes that's coming out, and they directly oppose what he stands for, which he's all about. When he even goes up against the government, and he tells them, he's like, might doesn't make right, and I can't impose law on people, and he's big about not taking life. Like, it's very, like, there's this very powerful moment in the film where there's these two countries that are going to war with each other, and he goes in and he like basically disables their jets while they're fighting, grabs their missiles, and he's saving everybody during all this, and he sets them all down, and he said, not one life, in this ends.
Yeah.
And then you have Manchester Black, who, like I said, directly opposes him, and he's killing villains. And so, not to spoil the comic, but they challenge Superman to basically a duel to the death. And I don't know how far I should go into explaining this, but I just want to say go watch it. Like
you definitely should.
But the greatest part is the end. When Manchester Black is talking to Superman, and he says, you're living in a fantasy world, believing all these things and all these, that there's good ideals in people, and he says, yeah, you're right, I am living in a dream, and this is actually pretty much dreams save us, dreams lift us up and transform us, and he goes, it's just this powerful, and then he lets him know, he's like, I'll never stop fighting for that, and to me, that's Superman.
It's one of my favorite quotes that he's ever said.
Yeah, that right there, that's Superman.
Yeah.
That's how I would also differentiate him between Batman. It's like, you want to say that Batman, he fights evil, right? He fights evil. But Superman, he does good. It's the same thing, but it's not. He's not out to, crush all the bad guys and, take all the credit and stuff. He's just trying to help everybody be better people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he cares about. And to me, that's I don't know, there's something about that. Not that Batman does. Obviously, Batman doesn't want the fucking credit. He'd rather not be seen at all.
Yeah. It's like, don't bother me. I should be punching somebody right now.
Yeah.
No.
But also, I should point out, like, the group in this, the Elite, they're kind of like a commentary on the Authority, or just any of those heroes of like the early 2000s and stuff, where just everybody was like the Punisher. Like, this is no nonsense. We got to kill the bad guys.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of evil. And those comics were getting very popular. And then they come around and do this nice comparison by doing like a weird commentary on. I've heard that the Authority might actually be in the new Superman movie, and it makes me wonder if they're going to reference this.
That's the rumor that I heard as well. I don't know if this is the route they'll go. I mean, as much as I would love to see this in live action, it does kind of, I don't know, man. Like, I love this movie so much. I don't want to.
They don't need to redo it.
Yeah.
You got George Newbern, man.
Yeah. God, what a wonderful Superman. But I wanted to. I was watching a movie the other day, and I kind of want to talk to you guys on it and bounce some of these ideas off you real quick, just to see what you think.
Yeah.
And of like what we would want Superman to be in the new films. And I think the best example I could think of is Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I want him, but Superman. That character.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
Because, like, to me, Aragorn is like the perfect example of stoicism. Stoicism done right. Because everybody assumes stoicism means that, like, oh, you're this tough, no, emotionless machine that can't be stopped. And I was like, when you couldn't be more wrong. That's not. No, stoicism is where you keep your emotions in check, to a point to where you can express them, but also use them to your advantage. Take that scene when they're in the Mines of Moria in the Fellowship, and everybody sees Gandalf go down with the Balrog, and everybody's freaking out. Well, as they're running, Aragorn turns around and takes a moment to take it all in, because he knew Gandalf the longest out of everybody, and he took that moment to like kind of let it in and feel it, and but he still was a stoic man to where he was like, no, we got to get up and go. The mission comes first, so they get up to the top, and he's the first one to say, hey, get them on their feet, we got to go, and they're like, no, give them a second, for God's sake, and he's like, no, we can't, we can't, we'll have to feel this later. But he's also this man that like he does these things that are associated with where kind of like people don't think they're very manly, or I don't want to use toxic masculinity because I think it's stupid. We confuse that, I think, where they're like, oh, men shouldn't be poetry, men shouldn't sing, men shouldn't, or intelligence is frowned upon because Aragorn speaks all these languages. He's a poet, he's a singer, and he does all these things because he's perfectly stoic, in my opinion. And I think if you was to take those character traits and give him the tights and give him superpowers, we would have a perfect Superman.
No, I think that's a good example because he's just the amount of humility that character has. He's very humble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's just refuses the fact that he's this king.
Yeah.
That's supposed to rule over Middle Earth or the humans of Middle Earth, and he's just like, nah.
Yeah.
I just want to love people.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't take it until the very last second, and then when he does pick it up, he's the first one that charges into battle.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like once they're giving him this like giant ceremony, who does he think? He thinks the little guys.
Yeah.
He's like, you're the ones that did all the work. I was just there.
Yeah. So James Gunn, if you happen to come across this, just say it. Go watch Lord of the Rings. And
Well, okay. Well, Dustin, man, what do you you're a big Superman fan, obviously. I know we talked about. So what do you want out of Superman, and what don't you want? What do we need to get rid
of? It's tough because I mean, there's so many things that I think they've done that's worked. Like I just like the vibe. I really liked Henry Cavill's vibe. While I wasn't keen on him killing Zod, but I know it was right for the movie, or what they felt was right for the movie, but that isn't what Superman's about. Like he finds a way. He's adamant, like there's always a way to not take a life, and he always finds it. I don't know how they've.
Yeah, it's usually at his own expense. I feel like that's his thing. Like, I mean, he'll take if it meant he was going to take like a laser blast to the eyes and he'd be blonde or something, or
right,
kryptonite bullet to the shoulder or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. As long as you don't kill any of these people, they're just standing about.
Right. And that's why I think it was tough, because like the way they painted him into that corner, and Zod was essentially gonna obliterate that family, and he's trying to cover his blast with his hand and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just like,
that's a tough one.
It's tough because
it's a tough one, man. Because in the context of that scene, like, even though I disagree with it, the whole like Superman killing,
right?
I understand that scene. I understand it. It's like Zod gave him, it's him or me. He's like, you either do this or
right. He forced his hand. Like, okay, well, I'm not giving you a choice. There's no other choice. Like, I get it, but it would have been nice for him to. I don't know how they could have done it differently, but
my mind goes to Hancock. Where everybody's bitching at Hancock with Will Smith. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just fly up?
I think it's the big thing that like with Superman is his weakness. Everybody thinks his biggest weakness is kryptonite, or they might think magic.
Right.
For Superman, it's the way to get to him is through his mind. If you attack his mind, and he's usually so terrified that he's going to mess up. Mm-hmm. He's always trying to keep himself in shape because he's juggling. He's constantly juggling.
Mm-hmm.
God bless the fictional character, man. He's always juggling. Like, if he sacrifices his status as a human, like just to look like a dolt, in order to save somebody that won't even notice that they've just been saved.
Right.
Like he does it. If but he has this this ability to I don't know. It's weird. I kind of want to jump ahead into it if you don't mind, Dustin.
Yeah.
There's something, since we're on the topic, there was this slide. It's this. Let me show here. This is from Superman Man for All Seasons.
Hmm.
And if you look, he's the first thing he said, like, you know, he helps, in Smallville, but he's like, you know, I could have done more. And he has this look on his face, like, and his parents are just like, that's always the look he has. He's like, you know, I could have done more. And he's always worried.
Yeah. But
It's
he
like,
pretty much carries the weight of the world on his shoulders, but
yeah.
at the same time, he rises above and still manages to put a smile on his face. And I think that's incredible quality that I think the character has. And it would be nice for them to show it. And they tried to in the Snyderverse, but it just wasn't well executed and all that. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think you made a good point. I think everybody has their ideal Superman, but if it feels like the movies, I feel like they do this with Batman too. They get like one part really on the note, like you got it. There's that, but then the rest of the stuff kind of falls to the side. And it's like if you could just pick and choose elements from each Superman that's been around, you'd have like the perfect Superman on screen.
Right. And like there's the CW Superman and Lois.
I just recently started watching that just to try it out because we were getting prepped up for this.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No.
Yeah, no,
it's actually pretty watchable.
Yeah. And I like the actor too. I think he does a good Clark.
He's really good. He's got that dad quality.
Yeah, he's a good Clark.
He really does. Yes, very much so. And like the thing that I really like that he does, he'll be standing there and all of a sudden he zones out, and it's like, especially in the most recent seasons, he sort of zones out a little bit, and you hear that something's going on far away, but he stays in the moment and he finishes his conversation. But sometimes it's like, oh, I know you have to go, and he goes and takes care of it.
Yeah.
And also, God bless him for that relationship too, because Lois doesn't do that thing where like you're never around,
right?
You never do this. Lois is like, yeah, I know, you got it.
Yeah,
it's okay. We can do this later. You can go.
Yeah, I know. Healthy relationships are crazy.
Yeah, he's like, no, this is important, and he's just like, no, the other people need you too, and then he takes off. But
and he lets Lois do what she wants to do. Like Lois's car blows up in that first season, and she's like, "Well, I'm going to go off to challenge this dude directly in the face, who I think is responsible." And he's just like, "Yeah, all right, be safe. If you need me, call me. You know, I'll be there."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fuck, dude. Just to have that relationship where it's just complete trust with each other, banging each other up. So I really dig that.
I really like how Tim Daly's Superman was portrayed too. Like,
oh man,
yeah, that's where is my slide? Because I had this. Where did
I go to him as the blueprint for Superman as well.
This is my favorite Superman.
Yeah,
it's not even a contest.
Yeah, that's
very much so.
I think if you were to just watch a marathon of this show, and pretty much the Bruce Timm universe is the best versions of, unfortunately, of our characters.
And, and it blows my mind. Like that's
I know. Imagine being a movie guy. Imagine being having to make a live action version, and they'd be like, well, how are you going to do it? And they'd be like, you have this blueprint like right over here that you just refuse to look
in front of your face.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
It's been around for decades.
Just look there. You don't even have to. You don't even really have to change anything.
Right.
You just do exactly what they did, but with real people.
Well, it's that they embraced all of the best qualities of him.
Yeah.
And they embraced the sci-fi of it.
Yes,
everybody is so hesitant to do. It's like he's a fucking alien.
Seriously,
it's okay.
Yeah,
let's bring in Brainiac and Parasite, and
right. And that's the thing. It destroys me because I know that they were planning on Brainiac for the next Man of Steel villain, and it's like finally finally, but
He's
like
always around, man.
Yeah,
I don't
I
understand.
don't know.
He
It's
he
a
did finally
travesty,
do
really.
the comic. Where is it? I think I had stills from it, and this is just my example stills. But that Superman 78 is that what it was? But the sequel to the Reeves movies, but in comic book form.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they did those.
Yeah, he finally fought Brainiac's the villain in that.
Yeah.
And he looks suspiciously like David Bowie, and I love it. Like you can tell they use Bowie. But yeah, this is one of my examples of like good Superman. Brainiac's like, why don't you take over these people? I don't understand you.
Yeah.
And he's like, because Brainiac in this version, he's they go back to their traditional, super alien that's kind of lost his identity by all these updates.
Yeah.
And he says, I thought I lost everything too. I didn't let it twist me. And then this right here, I came from one planet and crashed on another one, and the first two people I met took me in and loved me as their own. How could I not see good?
Right.
And I'm like, bingo. That's every time somebody hits it, I'm like, oh, you got the mark. You got the mark.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why I struggle so hard with the whole. I don't want to turn this into like a Snyderverse bash, but I've never seen someone get. Same thing with Batman and Superman. Like fundamentally, just like looking perfect, like just a perfect representation of what we want these characters to look and sound and move like. But from a character standpoint, be the most completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like
I hate that. I keep pushing it, and I don't mean it, but like I think Jim Lee and the new 52 verse and all that. I think that was a detriment to Superman.
Yeah.
Because like everybody wants Hush Superman. Everybody wants to see that Superman, and it's like, oh well, let's let that guy design every single character in the DC. Let's let that, and then let's put him in charge. And everything is so gritty and dark all the time, man.
Well, and New 52 after that, and then we had Rebirth, and then Rebirth is probably one of the most unpopular Superman I think in the comics we've ever had. I mean, he was so bad that he killed himself. I mean, granted, he killed him. He sacrificed himself. During his run, but he was a very stern, no nonsense. I mean, he dated Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Hey, I did not dig that, man.
Yeah, it was. They completely scrapped the whole Lois thing, and it was weird. And but yeah,
definitely felt weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. But we had a stern, no nonsense, kind of gruff Superman for a long time, and then Snyder, Zack Snyder, when he was looking to design his movies and his characters, he kind of he picked kind of like the most iconic comics over our history of Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dark Knight, Death of Superman, and he picked like these really big heavy hitters, which I thought was kind of like a huge mistake. Save those for down the line. I felt like you save those for when you earn them. Like establish the character first. But
yeah,
man,
well, I don't know. It was such a rocky time with DC. Like there wasn't a chance like they might not get another movie, so they needed to swing for the fences.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, but the problem with that
if they had just sat back and let them work, and it might have turned into something beautiful. Like I don't know. Like I said, I think Henry Cavill's was perfect, but
I agree. Henry Cavill, I would have loved to seen him.
Yeah.
And
it's like he was just finding his stride. Like he was down, depressed, and like in his head, and then he started to come around. And especially like at the end of Man of Steel, he's like, yeah, hey, you can't see where I hang my cape. I'm gonna not be found. You're not gonna be able to find me. Don't stop trying. And he had a smile on his face, and he's kind of playful with it, and it just felt like, okay, if they just kept going a little more, like if they had a sequel and then they pick it back up with that. Because I mean, again, with the whole Zod thing and him having that crisis of not really wanting to kill him but having to, the next movie would have been way amazing. Like,
well, as much as I love Zod, but Zod was a great. The way they did it, I think it was a good entrance villain. Like it made sense, to come from his own world. But then my biggest issue is right after that they skipped right basically to Darkseid, and I'm like, dude, like there's like a plethora of villains in between there.
Yeah.
You could have, like my mind. I mean, you guys go to like Brainiac and Parasite and stuff. My mind goes to Metallo. I would have went
Metallo.
Yeah, like I would have went.
I'll
Metallo,
take anybody. He has a great rogues but nobody ever. Nobody. It's either Zod or Lex.
Yeah,
God, it's always Lex.
It's always
the
Lex.
greatest Lex, of course, is Michael Rosenbaum, hands down.
Yeah, live action, for sure.
Yeah, but they did Metallo in Smallville, and they've done a version of Metallo in the new Superman show, the Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah,
and
what started this? For me was Zach. You said something about how Superman is always on this quest of he's always doing some self-evaluation and finding himself. And I think that is the two things that's always going on. There's always two things going on. I want to save the other one.
Yeah.
For the end, but like the one thing he always does is Superman's always constantly like, who am I? Am I doing enough good and all this? I think we've seen enough of that, actually. I feel like we don't need to see downer, self-doubt Superman anymore.
And that's what brings me back around to the Elite, Superman versus the Elite, because he's at the other end of that spectrum of he's not trying to find who he is. He's trying to prove
that he's
he's making this declaration.
He's making the declaration of that's perfect of what the qualities of being good are, and he's trying to reinforce this, like, people, because along the way people start to forget those good qualities, and and would rather, and they side with the Elite because the Elite are killing the bad guys, and they're being flashy and cool, and everybody's like, but Superman comes back to preach values and dreams, and I was like, man, I want to see that Superman so bad, that believes so hard, that believes in humans so much that he's willing to put himself on the line just to prove a point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There was somebody in that article I wrote like a couple of years ago about Superman that said, once there's people that say Superman, he's boring and he's overpowered and all this. Those are the people that think being a good person, an honest person, is just easy.
Yeah.
That's the simplest thing to do in the world, when it's the fucking hardest thing. To try and keep yourself on the straight and narrow and be a good person all the time. Because a lot of people will give you reasons not to.
Yeah.
And you have to keep shying that away.
And I hope this leads into The World Made of Cardboard.
That is on the playlist. It's on the playlist. Because it's on the playlist.
That's probably one of the best. Another one of my favorite speeches from Superman. Because it would be easy for him, to just clobber the bad guy and go about his day and all that stuff. But he chooses not to. He chooses to be good.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a shame that Superman, he has to keep explaining himself. Because I think that says more about the world today than it does about him. Like, the world has more trouble than ever believing that Superman can just be good and inspiring and that he's boring. When the doubt that we share toward the possibility of that someone shouldn't be that good, that says way more about us as people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so hard to write Superman now, because everybody's so cynical, and that saddens me.
Yeah. I think that's probably has a lot to do with it. But, because the problem with the writers now is the self-insert is really hard. Like, we can't just be characters anymore. We can't just come up with ideas. They have to insert themes and modernize it for modern audiences, And I'm
Neil Gaiman, when he was talking about Superman, he said, you don't make it relevant, you make it inspiring.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
all you have to do with Superman. That's all because that's all he is. That's his purpose, is to just inspire people.
Yeah, because if we're going to go down that road of boring, then yeah, I mean, technically Batman is probably the most boring hero there is. I mean, he's literally, oh, your parents died, so now you're on a lifelong vengeance for that. That's pretty simple, man. That's pretty boring. But yet Superman over here has never had any kind of real traumatic event. I mean, he was a baby when he was sent to Earth. He don't remember his planet being destroyed. He doesn't remember his parents. He never lost anything. Only thing he ever known from us is love.
Yeah.
And he
The
chose
second,
to be good.
the second he goes to Metropolis, that self-doubt and stuff needs to go away.
Yep.
Because he's went through all of this experience.
Yeah, if you want,
that's the man on the mission to Mecca. His Mecca is Metropolis, and that's his religion, is to inspire people.
Yep. Yeah, if you wanna have a story about Superman figuring himself out on the farm, there's a 10-season show called Smallville.
Right.
That, went on for 10
And
years. It's
fantastic.
It's fantastic. Go enjoy that. You know,
It only lasted 10 years.
Only 10 years. You know. And Tom Welling was a great Clark Kent. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
I wish they would do an animated Superman and just bring all that cast to do the voices.
Yeah.
And just have a Superman adventure with him.
Well, I mean,
I know they did the comics, but I just like to see a live action.
I mean, I know Tom. He doesn't. I don't know if he'll ever really step back into that role again, but I know he came back for an episode, like a cameo in the CW show, and the dude's still built like a freaking truck. You know, like he's massive.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry, I'm just playing slides.
Oh no, it's good, man.
Man, I actually teared up when I was reading this not too long ago. That kind of got to me. He's just like, I'm here, Mom.
Yeah.
Just casually saving his mom in Smallville.
Yeah. And that's the other part I like in again, Man of Steel, when he just beats Zod and he's just like, you think you can threaten my mother?
Yeah.
He's wailing on him.
Hit him with a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this. The iconography. I mean, like, look at this.
Yeah.
This is Superman.
Yeah.
He's going to save a dog that's just kind of stranded on a rock on a raging river. Like, because the Superman. He cares about all life.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even the alien, when he fought Xenomorphs, he refused to kill Xenomorphs because they were a living sentient being. And I'm like, they're fucking killing machines. And he's like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah. I'm like, nope, I'm with the Marines over here. Just hit them with the flamethrower.
But no, Superman will like getting running out of power, getting drained. He's hasn't been around the sun in hours, and he's just like, nope, we gotta figure out a way to just temporarily hold these dudes off and escape. We can't. I'm not killing them.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's, and I don't know.
No, I had this about this is like Lex getting into his brain.
Yeah.
Just to put the doubt in his head that he's not as we don't really need you and you're going to mess up.
Well, and see, as much as I don't want another Lex as a villain, that's what Lex was good at. Lex was the he's not the head games, and that was the only way he could affect Superman, and that's why he was such a great villain for as long as he was. Yeah. And we haven't had a really good Lex in a long time. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I'm so sick and tired of people taking villains and making them quirky. Or they like.
It's either they make them quirky or effeminate, and that suddenly makes them dangerous.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, man, but
it's
like,
okay.
The most recent Lex that we've had on screen was just the most terrible thing I've ever seen. And like I said, I don't mean to bash, but I calls it like a season.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the last good Lex Luthor was Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, and then Clancy Brown from the animated series.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course.
Clancy Brown
Oh,
is my
Clancy
Lex Luthor.
Brown.
You know, he's my Lex Luthor. When I hear Lex Luthor in my head, or I'm reading a comic, I hear that voice.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I wanted to read this because this is out of that Superman for All Seasons, and I think this is you got this one. It explains it. It's like no one would give it a second thought if how Chief Parker came out on such a horrible night to warn us. And more than when a fireman rushes into a burning house, not so much to rescue someone, but to find out if there's anyone who needs rescuing. Just the way Lana's, that's how she sees Superman.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like we don't think about like cops or firemen or ambulance, paramedics. We don't think about them doing it, but we question Superman because he's so powerful. And like, why would he be wasting his time doing all this stuff when he can do anything in the world?
Right.
And that's what makes him awesome.
So back to what I was
yes, please.
going to say. So it's a remarkable dichotomy. In many ways, Clark is the most human of us all. And then he shoots fire from the skies, and it's difficult not to think of him as a god. How fortunate it is that it does not occur to him. Like here, and this is a quote from Batman. Batman's saying this about Superman. It's just incredible. And to go back to the quote earlier, dreams lift us, dreams save us, dreams lift us up and transform us. And on my soul, I swear, until a world where dignity, honor, and justice becomes a reality that we all share, I'll never stop fighting. And that was in Superman comics 70-75.
Yeah, and that's a mic drop there. And as far as like you just said, thank God that Clark doesn't know it. This is the other thing. I really, please stop fucking doing this. This isn't even an airy example. Stop evil Superman stories. I'm so fucking sick of these.
Yeah,
we've hit the limit. Homelander and Omni-Man. Let's call it a day.
Yeah,
we've seen enough of it. This isn't even the Superman and Lois, like that first season storyline. It's about like a Luthor coming from another universe where Superman's evil, so he thinks he's got to destroy this Superman.
Right.
And which is fine. I'm sure that's going to be the reverse effect. Like, oh, this guy's good. He's actually good.
The only one of these I have to defend is Omni-Man, and only because I get that the concept of his character is an evil Superman, but his character is such a, for me, reading Invincible, and spoiler alert if you want to tune out for just a few seconds, because of his time on Earth, and because his ultimate goal is to come there and basically take over Earth and put them in the Viltrum Empire for his empire, his people. But because of his time on Earth, and he has a son, Mark, and his wife Debbie, it changes him. So even when it's time to take over the Earth and welcome them into the Empire, he chooses to not kill his son, and he chooses to leave Earth and to banish himself, which is a huge crime in the Viltrum Empire. And then they end up hunting him down, and he ends up fighting off the Empire with his son to defend the universe because he loves his son.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these. I love the majority of these storylines. They're fine. I love these characters. It's just I think we've run that tap dry.
Yeah.
And when this is the only interesting storyline you can go to with Superman or just a super being in general is, ooh, what if they were evil? It's like you're not.
Yeah, you're not original.
You're not even close to original. We gotta stop it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's again says more about us as people when we find that more interesting. And that's like our go-to whenever we're assigned a Superman story, man. It's like, oh, what if he's evil in this? It's like, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely overdone, I think, because I mean, there's so many other really good stories that you should tell, like the World's Finest comic that is magnificent, and just how Batman and Superman reunite on every year on the anniversary of this kid's death is just incredible. Like the soft, caring side of these characters can be, and how they team up and fight crime and stuff. But I mean, sure, it's just a good testament to their character. And like Doomsday, and how, Clark fought Superman, or fought Doomsday to his dying breath. And that was an incredible story that they've never quite gotten right in any form of media. Not in Smallville, not in Lois and Clark, not in.
Well, Doomsday's like this giant metaphor for just everything that Superman's fighting against. He's just death and destruction against every living thing.
Right.
And Superman is the exact opposite of that.
Exactly.
So that's about as far as you can go with, just ideals clashing heads.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to the end of the day, Superman is not his brains, it's not his brawn. He has the biggest heart out of anybody.
Yes.
He always believes in the good in everybody at all times, and he never doubts it. And it gets him in trouble a lot, which is like real life. If you just you go around and trust everybody, and you think the good in people, you're gonna hit some bad spots.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you should stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing your part in the world, like I don't know, it just makes me it literally makes me want to cry. Like I think about just be good, just be good and do good. That's it.
Yep.
If that's I don't know. And
do we have to pay? Do we have to pay D Amazing for that?
Yeah. You probably
be good and do good.
Yeah.
I'm sure Superman would be telling everybody to drink the water too.
Yeah.
I sure would. Because
I mean, Bill and Ted are what? Bill and Ted are considered some of the stupidest people on the fictional planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do they say? Be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
They got it figured out.
Yeah.
And look at that future. It's a bountiful, peaceful future where everybody just listens to rock music. So just fucking do that. Be good. We can have everything and anything we want if we're just good. Just looking out for ourselves. So yes, that's my message to you on the 4th of July.
Yep.
Final thoughts.
Truth, justice, the American way.
Yep.
The American way.
Yeah.
We have all the tools that we need, and we've always had the tools that we've always needed. And if things are getting worse, that's on us.
Yeah. I guess James Gunn, please don't fuck this up.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we really need okay. So we saw Guardians. I know you can do fight sequences and with flight now. I'm looking forward to that, but I need a story. I need the characters. I need goodness.
Yeah.
And I know that he has the range for heart and good storytelling. Because I mean, we've watched the Guardians. I haven't seen Guardians Volume 3 yet. But
me either.
So good.
But I was really amazed that I think what really blew me out of the water for James Gunn was Peacemaker. He really put a lot of heart into a character that I thought I would never care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that character arc.
Yeah.
The redeemed.
Yeah. So, I mean, for him to do what he did, and I think that's a testament. He has what it takes. It's just the only problem is the take that he chooses to take, I guess.
Yeah.
What he chooses to go, and because I understand he has to tell stories and we have to start from somewhere because the DC the DCEU or whatever we call it now is completely screwed up.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too much craziness going on, and I even the Flash, is in theaters. I think right now still or whatever. But
yeah,
good Lord, man, just pull the plug on that. And everybody's blaming James Gunn. They're like, well, you came out and said that we're rebooting everything, so nobody wants to go see our movies. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I hate to blame the guy. You don't blame him, blame you. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, it's just word of mouth too. There's so many people that just
Yeah,
the hardcore fans are going and seeing it, and it's just like, yeah, this isn't every single the majority of those movies have just not worked on some level.
Yeah.
They might be enjoyable or watchable or whatever, but there's always something people are just like, that's not quite. I mean, the best I'll give you is passing.
I mean, and like one of my favorite ones was I thought Aquaman was really good because it was just a fun adventure movie. Just enjoy it. It doesn't require any heavy thinking. No one's really brooding in the movie. They're just kind of having fun. And it was a nice film. And then I enjoyed the first Shazam up until the end. I couldn't even watch the second one just because.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreakingly bad.
Yeah. And but not to end on a negative note, but I think you have a good blueprint. There's so many good blueprints of what not to do, and there's so many good blueprints of what to do.
Yeah.
There's so many great comics out there, great media. I mean, the animated universe. Even if you somehow skip the animated series, just watch Justice League. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Superman is great there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
You've got like a Superman that's post the world doesn't believe him anymore because Darkseid had brainwashed him in the like series finale.
Yeah.
And he gets everything back, but he's just like, yeah, it's gonna take me a lot of work to get these people's trust back, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Justice League Unlimited. It's just it's a new struggle for him that people don't believe him anymore, or they're afraid of him, and they don't have to make him evil.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do any of that shit. It was just, look, I'm doing what I've always done.
Yeah.
I just hope that you'll believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Take my hand.
Yep. And trust that God, I wish I had that meme available. I gotta send it to Dustin. The Spider-Man 2099 from Spider-Verse. It's like, no, Clark, saving your father is a canonical event. Save him. No, I gotta be the dumbest Superman ever.
Yeah.
I love you, Henry Cavill, but you got screwed over there, bud.
I think his problem is he gets too excited about projects, and then he signs on, and he's like, "Oh, probably should have read this."
Yeah. Dang it. You mean I gotta say this? Yeah, you signed right here. You're gonna say that.
Oh man, okay.
You just see him look at the camera with his like slick back hair, and he's like, poopy butthole. Oh well. Anyways.
Well, tell us in the comments what's your favorite thing about Superman.
Yeah.
And if you don't like Superman, what is it that you don't like about him?
Yeah.
And then maybe that's something that people can. I know there's a lot of people that they think Superman's just too easy.
Yeah.
He's just an out. He's all powerful and anything, which is again why I love the animated series, because that dude has limits.
Yeah.
He can't do everything.
Yep.
And he represents freedom, and if you don't like that.